Hey my lovelies, I hope you're all safe and well. It's Mitch here. I'm just coming on to do this Wednesday's Facebook card reveals. As ever, I'm working this week with my deck, which is the Guided Paws Tarot. And just a reminder that it's a charity deck, so any sort of purchases for this deck, half the profits, half the money, go directly to help Somerset and Dorset Animal Rescue Centre. So it pays to help for dog care, for their food, bedding, bits and pieces that they might need, just everything. So it's a really, really beautiful, deck that gifts back and helps a real charity. So let's look at the cards. Let's see what's going on. So if you guys were drawn to card number 1, we're going into the energy of the Seven of Balls. Now, Seven of Balls in this deck would be the same as Seven of Pentacles in more conventional tarot. Looking into sort of revenue, money, how to make money work and serve for us. So this comes in a lot when we're really being quite thorough in investigation, in thought, and in feeling around finances. So it could be for some of you guys, maybe you're wanting to sort of set up a little business in something. A lot of people I'm talking to at the moment are really looking at sort of properties. I've had several clients over the last couple of weeks before my holiday and after my holiday wanting to sort of maybe buy some properties both in the UK and overseas, and sort of setting up Airbnbs or sort of bed and breakfasts and places of that nature. So it could be sort of money working and serving in that way. For some people, they've been doing study and they've been really working hard and investing in a new quality, a new skill, and they're now wanting to sort of turn that into a practical business. So that could be sort of something spiritual. There are some people I've been talking to that have been on sort of beauty apprenticeships and are now ready to sort of bring that into reality. Could be so many things. It could be as well that you've got other sort of areas that you're sort of looking into. So maybe you're a crafter and you're at a stage where maybe you want to get into a few little craft fairs and sell your artwork and your products and see if you can sort of spin some revenue. But it's all about how to make money work and serve. Those are just some examples. It could be something completely different, but it is a time to be entrepreneurial. It is a time to be planting those seeds and watching them come into fruition. And this is also about giving yourself permission to take a chance, to take a risk. I think sometimes we're so good at sort of like finding reasons not to do something, but actually sometimes when we just say, oh, sod it, I'm going to try, I'm going to give that a go, what's the worst that can happen? It can be quite pleasantly surprising at what flourishes, at what sort of does come back. So be open to receiving something great if you're putting those ideas and those energies out there, and it can be scary, it can be overwhelming, it can be obviously going into that fear and the unknown, but this usually wants to gift back a positive return financially. For some people, this might be sort of like buying and selling of antiques or doing little cheeky car boot sales or even like little things on Vinted. Could be so many things, big or small. It's not always sort of big and dramatic. Sometimes it's more minor stuff, but it opens up and it allows for wealth, for prosperity. There always has to be a starting point. There always has to be a stepping stone. And maybe that is this for some of you guys, if you've been drawn to this card. Now then, as we're going into card number 2, we're going into the energy of the Five of Sticks. Five of Sticks in this deck would be the same as Five of Wands in more conventional tarot. Now, this is usually seen as a time of conflict. So there could be inward conflict. So you might be battling with yourself at the moment. There may be some really sort of detrimental thoughts and feelings, lines of communication, ways that you're talking to yourself. And maybe we need to just catch those moments, we need to catch those things. Maybe we just need to be a bit mindful of the communication and the way that we are talking to ourselves and the way that we are processing and receiving energy. I was having a catch up and a chat with a friend the other day on voice message, and I said something a particular way, and she is like, I'm going to stop you right there because I don't think that is exactly what people are thinking. You're taking it that way. And I really had a lovely but needed spiritual slap around the face with something, and it was like boom, it put me back into sort of alignment. But I needed that to remind myself, because when you work for yourself, when you're self-employed, sometimes you get a bit in your own head with stuff, and my friend was like, no, I'm going to stop you right there. I don't think people see it that way at all. You're choosing to see it that way. And it was a real, I love you, but this is going to be some tough love coming in. And I needed that, you know, and it gave my head a bit of a spin in the way that I needed it to. Now, sometimes Five of Sticks or Five of Wands can also represent external problems, conflicts. So there could be some stuff happening, there could be some hearsay, there could be some gossip, there could be some people trying to pull you into drama or problems, there could be some stuff that you know has happened and is going around. And again, be careful of who's watching, who's looking, because there are eyes everywhere. And I feel a little bit like with this card, if you've been drawn to it, maybe something has happened, maybe there's been something that's kind of gone on, and now there are outside energies trying to almost pull you into drama, trying to pull you into stuff. And maybe there are people sort of shit stirring and watching and wanting to see how you're going to react, how you're going to respond. And don't give them energy. Conflict, struggle, battles, they only impact us. They only take effect. They only work and happen if we engage the sword, if we engage in that. But if we choose to say, do you know what? I'm really not bothered. I'm really not interested. Off you fuck. Then, you know, it has no power over us. I always think of like the David Bowie film Labyrinth, and you know, at the end when obviously he's the Goblin King and he's really trying to sort of like get Sarah at the end, and then she has this real awakening of like, you have no power over me, and all of a sudden his world collapses in on itself, and you know, he turns into the owl and he just sort of goes off into the night. And it's very much this, you know, something doesn't have any hold or any power over us unless we feed into that, unless we buy into that version of reality. And don't buy into that version of reality. Keep vibing high, you know, not always easy, but necessary for your own spirit if you've been drawn to card number 2. And finally, as we're moving into card number 3, we're going into the 9 of Leads. This dog always makes me laugh. She's called Rosie. She just really cracks me up because she just looks so pissed off with the world. And maybe if you've been drawn to card 3, maybe this is how you're just feeling at the moment. Maybe you're just in a stage of life where you've just been a little bit pissed off with the world, a bit disgruntled. 9 of Leads can come in a lot when there's a little bit of, you know, depression, grief can do many things. Grief is a hard mistress to master, essentially, you know, and I think sometimes it's really hard to show up when you are feeling that deep sting, that deep loss of grief, that deep sadness of grief. And so 9 of Leads can sometimes be that overwhelmment, that frustration, just all that processing of energy. And I think it's being gentle on yourself, it's being kind on yourself. It's each day as it comes. When you have a win, when you have a victory, celebrate that, be really sort of, you know, in that sort of space of gratitude and love. When you need to pause, when you need to have a bit of time for yourself, it's also okay. Mental health is a huge subject matter. It's a huge thing at the moment. And I think, you know, you will know what you need to do for your mental health. Nobody else can really tell you. Nobody else can really advise you. Only you can know what you need to do. But it's going gentle upon yourself. 9 of Leads or 9 of Swords can also sometimes represent a bit of betrayal, a bit of backstabby energy. So maybe you feel like you've been a bit hurt or let down by people, or circumstances or situations. And again, it's trying not to feed into that so much. Easier said than done, of course, you know, but just be gentle, be kind upon yourself, and know that there are professional helplines available if you need that. Samaritans and many other great charity numbers out there, which can support more than myself and others. You know, obviously counselling, tarot readings, mediumship readings, they can be very powerful, but they can only do so much, and they can never take away from professional medicals and professionally trained mental health professionals. And if some of you guys are in that and are needing that, seek those services much more over and above my work and other work, you know, because they will be able to help you more than I can, definitely. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense if you've been drawn to card number 3. An interesting set of cards, going to leave the messages with you. What do I need to let you know about? So this weekend I'm down in Collective Dreams in Burnham-on-Sea, completely sold out, so thank you very much. The following weekend, Saturday, I'm over in Carpe Noctem in Frome. 1 space now left, so get onto the website, grab that if you want it. And then on the Sunday, I'm down in Martok. I think we have 4 spaces left now for private reading, so that's really booked out quite fast. Obviously, just a reminder, I have the upcoming show in Ilminster at the Warehouse Theatre on Saturday the 20th of June. Very excited for that one. It's going to be amazing. I did put up a little bit of a shout as well, just a reminder to let you guys know. I am running a Witch's Rune in-person workshop in Carpe Noctem. That's going to be on a Sunday, and the date is the 20th. So 28th, sorry, 28th of June. So there are 2 places left. So if you want to come and see me for wanting to learn Witch's Runes in person, drop me a message, let's get you booked in, and it'd be great to see you there if you're interested. But have a beautiful week, keep shining bright. Thank you for everybody that's supporting me on the Zoom sessions. I'm doing a lot of Zooms at the moment and different bits and pieces. And yeah, I will just catch up with you guys as and when. Take care, much love, bye for now.